Once, I lost so badly in my fantasy football league that I had to eat an entire can of dog food covered in wasabi. It was unpleasant. But now, I found the Fantasy Footballer's Ultimate Draft Kit. The days of dog food are gone as I dig into their breakouts, values, tiered rankings, and much more. If you want to join me in the winner's circle where you don't have to paint your butt cheeks like an elephant's face, head over to www.ultimatedraftkit.com and prepare for your fantasy draft.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
You don't want to paint your butt cheeks, Mike.
Look,
you don't want to have to.
I will not say if I have or had not had to paint my butt cheeks like an elephant's face.
There are things we try to help you with as fantasy football analysts.
It was a sea lion. It was a sea lion on my butt cheeks.
Not surprised. Welcome to the show.
It's
Thursday,
still there. It's
Thursday,
called a tattoo.
May 24th, 2018. This is show 551. Is that accurate?
We're getting close.
We are so close.
One, we are very close. Two, I thought you were springing something on me about a
certain number,
a show number approaching, and I was not mentally or physically or spiritually prepared for the greatness that will be the triumphant celebration of show 555.
Yeah, we get it, Mike. We know what number you like. You're a big fan of a certain number.
What number? What number is it that we like?
55!
Oh!
Not Hunter Henry's number.
Oh, come on. You had to go from 55 to 0? The goose?
85 might be coming back, but we'll get into that. Today we're going to answer a ton of questions. We have what we're calling our Bright Duck segment, so just stay tuned for that. That's exciting. Want to remind you, tickets are on sale right now for the Fantasy for the People Tour, brought to you by Draft, ballerslive.com. We are doing live podcast tapings in Minneapolis, Dallas, Philadelphia, New York, Phoenix. All the details on ballerslive.com. And I can say this, the Minneapolis show, which is right around the corner, not a lot of tickets left.
No, there are far fewer than 50% of those tickets available. They are going fast. Please, if you're thinking, I don't want to go there right now, it's the internets and the complications, you're going to miss out on the show. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, pay your dial-up bill. Connect your 33.6 modem
to ballerslive.com.
Ballerslive.com, AOL keyword ballerslive.
Yeah.
That part might not be true.
And also a clarification on the our second show in Dallas where we are kicking off the NFFC. So if you're going to the NFFC, which is a great event, the National Fantasy Football Convention, we will be there. We'll be doing some stuff, and we're kicking it off with the live show there. There's been questions of, like, there's two ticket prices. It's like one's in the 20s, one's in the 80s.
Right.
The 80, I think it's $85. That ticket price includes the entire, I think it's normally like a $100 ticket. For the conference, you get that plus our live show.
It's a bundle. You can buy our live show exclusively, and then if you see the other ticket price, that's the NFFC plus our live show.
Yeah.
So we've worked out a deal with them, and we're going to be at the NFFC as well as the live show, so you can hang out with us twice. Twice is nice.
Oh, very nice.
What else is going on? FootClanGiveaway.com. Sign Lev Bell jersey. Sign Alvin Kamara jersey. I'm sorry. Football. Twitter, you can follow us at the FF Ballers. You can check out Jason's new exciting avatar, which
hot.
looks a little bit like the 40-year-old virgin movie poster.
A lot of it.
At Jason FFL.
It's great.
Mike is at FF Hitman, still unverified. I'm at Andy Holloway. Very verified.
Why we got to do that?
I don't know.
I thought we were grown-ups and we had moved past that.
We
have. Andy and I have, because we're verified.
Yeah, and I am by choice.
Yeah.
I remain a man of the people, unverified.
All right, quick question of the day, then we'll get into the news, talk about Hunter Henry and everything that's happened.
Twitter, please verify me.
All right. On the show, we had a dark horse team question last week, and it was all about, what team wasn't very good in 2017 that we think might be great in 2018. And obviously, when a team improves, the fantasy, potential improves. We saw the difference that the Los Angeles Rams, their offense, they became a good team, and everybody became relevant overnight. Then we said, what's the opposite of a dark horse? And we had a lot of theories on this come through, many from the Foot Clan. A lot of really good answers. Some of you said a seahorse. Okay.
A starfish was out there.
Starfish. Mike was very literal. He said an inside-out horse.
I stand by it.
But clearly.
But Jason was it was obvious to him.
Yeah. There's a right answer and there's a wrong answer, and a bright duck, which is the opposite of a dark horse. So let's talk some bright ducks.
So bright duck teams. So this is a team that was very good.
Woo! Sorry.
They were bright.
They were bright last year. And are they going to disappoint us in 2018? So we're each picking a bright duck, okay?
You know what? In
very
honor of
simple
Hunter Henry,
question.
In honor of Hunter Henry, I am willing to change it to a bright goose.
Are you?
Because a goose is
a bright goose?
Is a goose egg. Yeah.
I think you just made Hunter Henry's day. Honestly, that's the one thing that was able to lift his spirits.
You're welcome, Hunter.
Okay, yeah. Now who's bringing it
down
into the world of sadness? All right, my pick here, I thought about the Rams a little bit, and not because I'm a Cardinal fan in the division, just objectively looking at Jared Goff potentially over-accomplishing last year. And when you think about the division itself, it's a competitive division. We expect the 49ers to be much improved. The way that Jimmy G ended the year, 5 straight wins. The Seahawks are always competitive under Pete Carroll, regardless of what they've lost on defense. And then the Cardinals should be competitive too. Had a very good defense. They were an 8-8 team last year. So you look at the Rams and say, okay, maybe they overachieved a little bit last year, but they've added so many pieces this offseason. On paper, they look great. So I went with one of the teams that Mike brought up. You brought up the Bills and Titans, Mike.
Yes, I went
so I agree on the Titans.
My inside-out horse, I refuse to get on board with Jason's nonsense.
With his bright goose?
My inside-out horse teams are the Bills and the Titans. Both made the playoffs last year, and both were the only winning teams in football with a negative point differential. I don't know if you realize how difficult it is to actually win more games than you lose, and yet the other teams score more points than you do. They worked it out. They solved some mathematician problems, but the Bills, in my opinion, they've had a terrible offseason. I'm reserving judgment on Josh Allen. I'm talking about the other moves that they have made, dismantling their offensive line. And the Titans, I like the coaching change, but I do not believe they are as good as their record was last year.
It's funny because I'm all in on the Titans.
Yeah.
I actually think the Titans are going to be good. I do agree with the Bills.
The division's a bit difficult.
Yeah,
Houston and Jacksonville. That's my problem with the Titans.
I think the Bills have a really clear path to that number 1 pick. So congratulations, Buffalo fans. The team,
how dare you refer to Josh Allen that way?
Yeah. Here's the teams. So the Seattle Seahawks, they had a really horrendous offseason. They lost offensive weapons, defensive weapons. For fantasy purposes, they might just have to, score more points. So I'm holding off there. But the team that made the playoffs last year had a great year that is having some change come their way, and I'm not sure how well it's going to fare, is the Carolina Panthers. I think that's a really tough division with the Falcons, with the Saints. And with Norv Turner coming in, 26 years of experience as a head coach, offensive coordinator, we know what he likes to do.
He was calling plays during the Civil War.
Right,
He's been doing it a while.
And, I'm just really curious.
Or General Turner.
I am really curious.
He was a corporal back then,
how he's going to be able to utilize Cam Newton, because Cam Newton has to run. You can't come in here and say, Cam, throw 65 to 70% accuracy, which is what Norv Turner recently said he believes Cam can do.
Is capable of, yeah. That's what he said he believes he's capable of.
You're not saying he's capable. You're saying
I'm saying Norv Turner believes it.
Okay, good.
We're all capable.
Yeah. And so, the highest rushing quarterback pretty much he's ever had is like Alex Smith, who runs the ball 40-plus times. And so obviously Cam will be up nearer that 100 rushing attempts, but I think it's going to be very difficult in that division with Norv Turner to put all the pieces in play year one.
I would love to, we talk about getting our spirits up. I'd love to water bet you on the Panthers making the playoffs.
Oh,
sign me up.
Put your bright goose where your mouth is.
Oh, what?
Mailbag.
Never heard that before, have you?
I was really expecting the water bet
So
drop.
was
Wait,
I.
what did I just hit?
You hit the mailbag.
but I did not miss a beat. The mailbag man over here
no.
kept it on 100.
Oh, for the fantasy.
I feel terrible about
mailman.
that.
The fantasy mailman.
Water bet.
I didn't even notice. I was too amped about my bet.
Yeah.
Well, now we're already in the mailbag.
Yeah. Pro move, Mike.
You skipped the news and notes.
Moving the show along.
Here's some.
We have to run the news through.
Yeah. I won't hit the button because we have one headline. That's the one I want to talk about. Everyone wants to hear about it. Oh, Henry.
This sucks.
This really sucks. When an injury happens at this point in the season, which, by the way, we're not even in the season, it seems
Unfair.
It seems too bad to be true, right? Hunter Henry has suffered a season-ending torn ACL on Tuesday. Per league source, Adam Schefter talked about it. Did it during a drill, running downfield, untouched. His season's over. So now all of the hype, all of the excitement, the breakout season, the season without Antonio Gates, the maybe ceiling that I saw Phillip Rivers having as the quarterback of a very prolific offense with a good defense, it all deflates now. And I made adjustments to Phillip Rivers this morning. I know there are those of you out there that say, well, it shouldn't even matter. Well, no, it matters when imagine any of the other top 5 tight ends go down in this league. Take Travis Kelce away from Pat Mahomes today, and how do you project Pat Mahomes? Take away Rob Gronkowski from Tom Brady. Take away Zach Ertz from Carson Wentz's return to Philadelphia, and you're not projecting the same because you need a plurality of weapons in today's NFL to get it done consistently. And so I had already projected Rivers really high, and unfortunately, this takes him down a peg.
Yeah, not only do you have the issue of losing Hunter Henry, and maybe Antonio Gates comes back. I know that he's been training. I know a trainer that he's been working with this offseason, hoping to come back. It did not appear that the Los Angeles Chargers wanted him back, but now they might be changing
think
their
they
tune.
will, yeah.
But after 15 years with Antonio Gates, Phillip Rivers has spent his career throwing the ball to the tight end position, and now you've lost both. You've lost Gates and Henry as of this moment. You've got Virgil Green left there, who I think will see a significant bump up if they don't bring anyone else in. Not enough to, by any means replace Hunter
Virgil
Henry
Green
for
has
fantasy football.
Virgil Green has always been just a temptress.
Well,
because
he's too good of a blocker.
He is an athletic monster who can make things happen, but it's never happened for Virgil Green at this point, and you have to doubt. I mean, this would be a Gary Barnidge level of surprise if Virgil Green was able to break out.
Yeah, if they don't.
Yeah, Green's vanilla. I mean, you have a tight end. That's what you have. You
right.
have a tight, and you have I think Sean McGrath is there, who again a tight end,
Lead singer of Sugar Ray.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as far as how this affects
Nice
everyone
beard.
else, I agree completely that Phillip Rivers takes a pretty significant hit. He dropped to 17 in my rankings.
Wow.
Where was he before?
I think he was around 14. I didn't
Oh,
look
okay.
prior
You
to
didn't
that.
have him where I
You
had him.
have him.
I had him at 4.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I joked with Mike this morning, maybe this injury let me off the hook for having him at 4, but he's at 10 now for me.
Right. So
Because I took a few touchdowns away. I don't think he's going to, whether they run them in and are still as prolific of an offense, you just take a giant red zone weapon away. And even if they add Antonio Gates, which, by the way, I expect them to do. I
Right.
expect Antonio Gates back on this roster.
But he's done. I mean,
he's done.
He's a slow, hobbled.
He'll catch
version
a
of-
touchdown every 4 games, and he won't do what Hunter Henry can do, which is stretch the field, be hyper athletic, and come down with the ball.
I feel like they might as well just sign Shannon Sharp today. Like, that's the same as getting Antonio Gates, except he'll bring in some more publicity.
Very nice. I didn't know you watched football back then.
But I think it's good news for the wide receivers there.
Yeah,
because
for Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is a name now that I think has targets that can come his way. He is an exceptional blocker for a wide receiver. That's part of why I think they drafted him where they did last year, because they wanted to run the ball. I think Mike Williams is going to get more snaps, get on the field, more opportunities near the end zone with his big-bodied frame. But the real truth is, I had Hunter Henry as my tight end 4, which means Jared Cook moved up a spot.
Is he a top 10 tight end now?
He is now my tight end 10. Deal with it.
You kind of, Sure. And here's the thing, and we're really pragmatic. We're a fantasy football show. We're giving you all the implications without saying the obvious, which is this just really stinks for Hunter Henry. I feel bad for him, and he's not, the only thing I do know, and it's no comfort to him, he's not going to be the only one.
No.
He's not going to be the only one. You're going to see this, unfortunately, all off-season and regular season because this just plain happens, and it can happen at any moment.
The good news, I will say this. There's very little here for Hunter Henry. It's all bad news. But when a player gets an ACL torn, when they get it torn in the season matters for their following season. Are they on short recovery or long recovery? Because he is, first day of OTA, come next season, he will absolutely be at 100%. I won't worry about Hunter Henry next year coming off of this injury. He's got more than enough time to not only recover from the injury, but then get back in football shape 100%.
Yeah. So, do you want to do this drop again, Mike? You want to let Jason take it?
Oh,
yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Mailbag.
I changed
Sultry.
it up. I changed it up because I can't do you, so I did me. And it was terrible.
I prefer Mike.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself.
Good advice, Mike. Thank you.
What?
You are a good friend, a brother. I'm thankful for your counsel, and I will never be myself again.
Thank you.
Wow. It's a strange mood on the show today. All right. If you have a question for the podcast, we love answering questions. That's what the mailbag's for. Go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. Click on the Submit a Question button, or you can dial our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. We're going to kick it off with a voicemail.
Hey, ballers. My name is Chris. I'm calling from Baltimore, Maryland. Just want to start off by saying thank you for helping me get my first ever Foot Clan title last season. Really appreciate it. But my question is, do you change up strategies at all in a 2-quarterback league? I'm in a redraft half-point PPR 10-team league, and my league mates like to draft their quarterbacks really early, and they usually draft up to 3 at a time. Last season, I waited until rounds 8 and 9, but I doubt I'll be able to get Wentz and Goffrey again that late. Thanks, guys.
So, in other words, you waited, and it super benefited you last year, and you won a Foot Clan title. So, does a strategy change? And we get this question so often because we emphasize streaming quarterbacks in redraft and regular leagues. Mike, what approach do you take? Because I think you push the envelope even more than we do. I always say I like to get, in a 2-quarterback league, I like to get my stalwart at the quarterback position in the first 3-4 rounds and then wait on my second quarterback.
Sure.
But he waited on both last year. It worked. He won the Foot Clan title.
Every year there will be late-round quarterbacks that hit and stick. You got the 2. So it worked out as literally as amazing as it can. I do still wait in this situation, but I'm not looking to stream. I am looking to draft 3 quarterbacks
3.
at least. I am building up my platoon that I will stream from those 3 guys, and they're guys who are maybe devalued in the eyes of fantasy football players. Eli Manning is the guy who's coming to my head immediately,
he's your perfect third.
Right, and because he can be great. He's got just a ton of offensive weapons at his disposal, but I still choose to wait, and I'm not going to pass on guys like Gurley and David Johnson.
Yeah, the benefit of being – so the strategy does change in a 2-quarterback league because, I usually don't like having more than one quarterback on my roster.
League
ever.
size matters when I'm saying this. I'm not talking about you're in a 2-quarterback, 16-team league. I don't want to be left holding the bag of guys like I end up with Tyrod Taylor and Sam Bradford as my starters. I'm not even sure they're going to be starting quarterbacks for the entire year.
Right, but here's a bunch of quarterbacks that are going outside of the top 10 that I think have phenomenal years this year. They might not be super duper late, but some of them will be. You got Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Mariota, Patrick Mahomes, Winston, Alex Smith, Eli Manning, Trubisky.
I'm great with all those guys.
Get 3 of those guys late, and then take advantage of the fact that the rest of your league is drafting these quarterbacks in the first and second round, allowing really good, talented running backs and wide receivers to drop. Get a Keenan Allen in the super late second, early third because people are drafting a bunch of quarterbacks.
Yeah, speaking of Keenan Allen, I did adjust him. I just
did he go up a bit?
A smidgy up. I mean, you take away a lot of targets, and I'm not giving them all to Virgil Green or Anthony Gates. So, but you made a good point on Mike Williams earlier as well.
To follow up on the quarterbacks, it's because those second and third quarterbacks, you know that they are going to score points, right? They're a quarterback. They touch the ball every single snap, but it's still hard to find those second and third running backs. So it's opportunity cost. So that's what goes into it, why I still choose to go late. Before we move into our next question for the mailbag, I want to thank today's sponsor, Fantasy Champs, the only place you need to go for your fantasy football hardware. Their trophies are incredible. Their rings, ladies and gentlemen, the stainless steel ring on this site blows me away. It's the best fantasy championship ring I've ever seen. I have 2 proudly displayed in my customized case right in front of my desk so everyone knows that I am a winner, because that's what it's all about, rubbing it in.
I try not to look at them when I walk by, but the glisten.
Yeah, it beams.
The glisten is on my gym rings, and I got 3 of them.
But here's the deal I want to talk about with Fancy Champs.
Right.
They got bundles available. They're all about giving you great value and tremendous products. Now they have bundles where you can get your league started with your perennial trophy, the toilet trophy, because while we celebrate the winners, you must celebrate and mock the losers.
Brian Ketron.
And then get a one of those rings I was talking about with a customized case for the league winner to keep while the trophy's getting passed around. But you can save money. You can save even more money if you use the code BALLERS at checkout. That's fantasychamps.com.
We also want to remind you, little more than a week left before the Ultimate Draft Kit is released. Until it's out in the wild. Which means right now you can get the pre-order pricing and save a little quiche before it's released. This is the time to go grab it because you won't have to wait very long to enjoy it. The Ultimate Draft Kit's jam-packed. We have all of our extended season projections and points. We've got 100-plus player profile videos.
Yeah, we've been recording those 100-plus player profile videos, and sometimes I forget everything we're talking about, all these stats and outlooks on these players. I forget that that those aren't on the show because we're
right
here. We're talking about these players and digging deep on each individual player, but those are so informative. You're going to want to have your toilet time, be benefited by the Ultimate Draft Kit.
Yeah, there's no restriction on where you can use it.
Right.
None whatsoever. You get your sleepers, breakouts,
school, work.
busts. The toilet at school, the toilet at work.
Yes.
No matter where you're at. Sortable rankings, printable cheat sheets, tier breakdowns. Look, this is there was a survey sent out to 1,000 champions last year done by fantasyfootballcalculator.com to inquire of which podcast the most champions listen to, and it was this podcast, and we put a lot of pride and joy in the Ultimate Draft Kit, so check it out at ultimatedraftkit.com. Like I said, it's out in less than a week, so you can get it at the cheapest possible price. All right, back to the mailbag. Mitch in San Francisco has a question. What are your feelings about Jordan Howard this year? I could see him improving with being on a better offense and can also see him not really being a fit for the offense or having a decreased snap count. Appreciate your insight. He's speaking about a half-point league specifically, but what do you think about Jordan Howard? Because, I don't know, Jordan Howard, he seems like a fantasy vegetable, but I think he's much more than that.
He is a mighty vegetable. He is the fresh
The superfood.
He is the fresh stalk of broccoli that I don't have to eat by itself because I got dill dip right in front of me, making it extra delicious. I love Jordan Howard this season. Jay, do you have ADP up right in front of you?
I can
So
soon.
pull up where Jordan Howard is because I think that he fits in this offense tremendously because they have the perfect complement behind him. They have Tariq Cohen.
Jordan Howard right now is going in.
Cohen cannot withstand a
That's-
billion carries.
that's
He's not
my
made
point.
for that.
Yeah, Howard is very beginning of the second round, 10th running back off the board, 203.
See, if you're going to go with a wide receiver first at the end of the first round, which you may want to do because in your fantasy drafts, this is kind of the first look at how drafts are shaping out. It's very running back heavy because this is what always happens with fantasy football. We swing the pendulum very far away from what happened last year, and wide receivers underperformed. Running backs overperformed. So drafters want running backs. And if I'm at the back of the first round, I don't want to fall in line of say, well, I guess
I'll take the
I
eighth
just
best
have to-
running back.
Exactly. I'm just going to take the 7th running back when I can take the 2nd best wide receiver, then come back and grab Jordan Howard, who is in a similar tier with the other running backs who would have been available.
Yeah, I mean, the LaShawn McCoy, Devonta Freeman,
Right.
all of that category, you can wait. Get a guy like Jordan Howard who does have upside. If this team improves, I mean, he scored quite a bit last year on a really, really rough offense.
A really bad team.
And he's very talented. You know it because he's sustained high yards per carry over multiple seasons, but people just kind of get down on him because of the bad hands and because of
Yes.
the bad offense and because of the bad coaching.
His ceiling is certainly capped because he is not Le'Veon Bell who's going to catch 80 passes. That's Tariq Cohen's job for that team, but he was still one of 7 running backs with more than 1,100 yards on the ground. And like Andy said, that was with John Fox trying his best to derail that offense at every moment.
Yeah, that's what teams stacking the box, not afraid of Mitchell Trubisky and the John Fox inspired offense.
If you want to carry the Sean McVay comparison over, McVay didn't go into Los Angeles last year and say, boy, the way that I'm going to win in Los Angeles is by overemphasizing the passing game on a young quarterback. I mean, the solution for Chicago to improve and take the next step is not going to be, Mitch Trubisky going from, 15 attempts a game to 35 attempts a game. It's going to be using the asset and the best player that you have.
and being creative with it.
Right.
So I like Howard a lot in the second round.
All right, Instagram question from Thomas Berry 91. Who becomes the biggest weapon in the Bears offense overall? It's Jordan Howard.
Yeah, it is.
It's Jordan
I
Howard for
I
me.
would take him over Allen Robinson. Tariq Cohen.
Are
will
these
be
all
a
Bears
neat
questions, Brooks?
tool.
Did Jay Grizz
Grizz
take over?
get in here?
Yeah,
I
I
would-
got too busy. I didn't want to tell you, but I passed it on to Jay
You
Grizz.
delegation is part of success, Brooks, but
But
he takes advantage of you. Jay Grizz does.
Jordan Howard's my favorite weapon on the team. My favorite underrated weapon on the team, at least as of right now, is Trey Burton.
Yeah.
Here is who I was offered an interesting trade for today in Dynasty.
Do you want
Let's
to
hear
talk
it.
about it?
Sure. I was offered Isaiah Crowell for him.
Interesting. Isaiah
For
Crowell,
Trey Burton?
For Trey Burton.
still a young running back. I believe he's 25 years old.
We look
He
at him
is
as
the-
a value in
he
our
is
ultimate
the
draft kit.
start-
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, because last year he was hyped up and failed miserably, and people like
He'll
Mike
be
said,
25 this year.
we always swing the pendulum very, very far, and he signed a new contract at age 25 to be the starting running back for an NFL team. That's good enough opportunity. Their team is, look, if the Jets are bad, they're still better than last year's Browns. So he upgraded his team. That's one way to look at it.
All right, I'm really excited about both what I just tweeted and this next question. Hardly Soft in Ontario, Canada said,
Bonjour.
he said,
Oh,
why were you guys referring to Paul Perkins as Paul Perkins last episode?
Oh,
and I want to explain why. And it's
it's an easy answer.
well, I have a different answer. My answer is what I tweeted, which is that it is now official, and I am officially naming Marlon Mack the new Smash Jackson for 2018.
See,
That's a mistake.
to me, if you're new to the show, Paul Perkins was a running back that we talked about, similar to the way that Jason was talking about Crowell. He was the starting running back for an NFL team, and there is always value in those guys, especially when they've underperformed and no one wants them on their team.
Yeah.
At a certain draft price, everyone becomes valuable to your team. And we felt like Paul Perkins, he needed some remarketing. His name was not inspiring confidence.
Yeah.
It was more insurance salesman.
He's an
less
accountant.
running back.
So we dubbed him Smash Jackson, and then he crapped all over the joy and the goodwill that we were spreading
No, he
around
played
the world.
like Paul Perkins.
Yes, he did. So
That's why he gets referred to as Paul Perkins.
But Marlon Mack has a name to me that is a superhero's secret identity.
well, that's Paul Perkins. They both have the
but Paul-
alliteration.
But the secret
alliteration,
identity
but
never stops any
Perkins-
crime. That's the guy who does the newspaper work. The secret identity is the one that's paying the taxes, and he's got the glasses on.
Yeah.
yeah, dork.
Yeah,
I'm talking to you, Jason.
and that's why he's now Smash Jackson.
what
By the
do
way,
you think would happen if you
Bishop
punched-
Sankey was the original Smash Jackson.
You go punch Clark Kent in the face and tell me
Well,
how
it'll
you
hurt.
feel about it.
Yeah.
Well, it would one.
Clark can at least average 4 a carry.
If you punch Clark Kent in the face, yes, you're going to break your hand, but he's not going to do anything about it because he's Clark Kent. He cannot act.
He's Marlon Mack.
He's not the superhero. He is the mild-mannered reporter.
All right. Well, then we
Down-
can put Smash Jackson over to Marlon Mack this year.
There you go. I'm just trying to give him a more emphatic name, not set him up for failure, Jason. All right. Instagram question. By the way, where do you find us on Instagram?
Instagram.com/fantasy footballers, or just search for fantasy footballers.
It is the place to be. It is the only place to be to see various Jason dance parties. I mean, we
they're
try
so
to
good.
capture Jason and his rhythm and motion.
Oh, there is something terrible happening right now.
I
Oh.
dance so good.
That's a GIF waiting to happen.
Oh, my goodness.
You got that, Brooks?
That's an Instagram waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Would you trade the 102 and Alshon Jeffrey for the 101 in a 12-team PPR dynasty? I would.
Wait. Okay, so this is it's got to be – he's talking rookie picks.
Yes.
So 102 and Alshon Jeffrey for Saquon Barkley in a PPR. Ooh, who's your? Let's fill a name in here.
For me, it's Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny and Alshon Jeffrey. Would I trade those two for
Saquon
Barkley? And I probably
yes.
would.
The answer is yes for me.
Yeah, I mean, if it left me without enough receivers, then that would be foolish. But I mean, if you're listening to this show, you probably have a pretty good team. That's my belief.
Josh McMillan off of Twitter. He says, what's a guy got to do to encourage the league to be creative with trades? I've been in a league for 4 years, and I try offering future draft picks, but no one bites.
I got to be honest, Josh.
He wants to be a GM. He wants to wheel. He wants to deal.
This sounds like, how do I – when you're saying we got to be creative with our trades, guys, it certainly sounds like, why will no one accept my bad trade offers? That's the way that I'm reading between the lines, Josh. I see you.
We've already got a response. Smash Maxon.
Or
Smash Max. Yeah, that's perfect.
yeah,
There
all right,
it
I'll
is.
take it. Smash Maxon. It's a little hard to say.
It is a little difficult.
Smash Maxon, but I'll get there. I'll buy in. Yeah, Josh. Look, maybe you're on the bad side of crappy trade offers, or maybe people just don't value the future at all. And while I am much more a proponent of the here and now, where I say I would much rather have, just always trade and be successful now, and then trade your future assets, be successful now, you can go too far to undervaluing the future, where maybe what you do is you take advantage of your league if indeed you're offering really great trade offers, but people don't want the future, and you just flip it. Go the reverse and say, okay, here, I'll give you this guy for, all of your future picks or an abundance, and, maybe take advantage of it that way. Other than that, your actual root of the question of how do you get trades to go through, it's relationships,
Yep,
man.
exactly.
It really is. It's get to know the people. Whenever we look at our trade log, there's the thing that is the most common is that most trades tend to happen with the guys that know each other best in the league.
Yep.
Talking to you, Troy and Daniel.
Look at the NFL. This is what happens. You have the NFL executives who have become friends. They are the ones who are often trading with each other. Mm-hmm. It's life.
So what do you do, though, if you're, that all makes sense on how successful leagues generally run and how they work. But I've also been in leagues where I'm trying to be creative or I'm trying to send offers out, and you never get a counter, you never get a reply. You're in a league like that. He said,
Public shame.
He said 4 years. I mean, he did not say, like, last year nobody really replied to me. He said for 4 years nobody's replying to him. At what point
shame.
do you cut bait and go find a league that does what you want?
Yeah, if it's a crappy league, go to footclanleagues.com, find some great people to play with.
I was not trying to lead into
No.
a shameless plug.
No, it's not. That's the thing, though. It's not a shameless plug. We have thousands of people that have enjoyed the leagues that they have and the league mates that they've found at footclanleagues.com. It's not to plug our leagues. It's to give you great players to play with. But, if you want to stick with this, maybe you're great friends with all these guys and they just won't trade for 4 years. There has to be some form of communication that is league-wide. Whether it's a Twitter group chat, a Facebook group chat, a Facebook page, a Slack channel. You've got to have a group chat environment because then you can publicly shame people into, man, I make all these trade offers, nobody's chirping. Put a couple funny gifs that say what a loser that guy is or gal. And,
Anybody can be a loser.
Yeah. Just ask
Mostly
Brian
Ketron. Do you know that our infamous listener league loser, Brian Ketron, did you know he's going to be in attendance in the Phoenix live show?
No, I know he was going to be at Dallas.
I'm sorry, in the Dallas live show.
Yes, I did know that. So if you want to see the biggest loser, go to Dallas.
That's reason enough.
Don't come see us. We'll bring Brian up on stage.
We will absolutely bring him up on stage.
Oh, you're getting water,
or
Brian.
bar him from the front. Either way.
One of the two.
He'll be out front. When you
in.
arrive, he'll be out front. Okay, here's a good question. From Twitter, James. What pass-catching running back has a chance to break out and exceed their ADP? So I'm going to throw some names out there. Do you want me to do that? Or do you have one in mind already?
You go ahead and read them out with their ADP. I would say over under.
Right now, Jerick McKinnon in the 4th round is an obvious one to me.
Over. I will take.
Yes.
And by over, I mean I would overpay for him.
Okay.
Yeah, I would take him in the 2nd round.
Okay, so another pass-catching running back. Tariq Cohen in the 7th.
Yes.
Is that the right value for him?
He was
It's
the guy
pretty
that
close.
He was the guy that stood out to answer this question of which guy could blow away their ADP. It's not meaning that you should draft him in the 5th. It's saying that in the 7th, sure, draft him because he could absolutely break out.
One of the league leaders when he was playing in yards per reception at the running back position, 11th round pick, Spencer Ware. They're both shaking their head.
Yeah,
No.
I don't
because
love it.
he's not going to be the pass catcher if that's specifically what we're talking about.
Okay. What about Rashad Penny? 8th round right now. That
mean,
one's not worth
yeah.
talking about. Chris Thompson, 9th round.
He will outperform that while he's healthy. I mean, you'll get him and you'll enjoy the value.
Corey Clement.
Yeah, Corey Clement, I love it. I just wanted to throw out with Chris Thompson before. I know people really like him. I
His
appreciate
efficiency
his
was
talent, but he went from the past 2 years averaging 7 yards a reception to 13.1 yards per reception.
Now he gets a new quarterback.
That it doesn't matter if it was Kirk Cousins still. You're not hitting 13 yards per reception after averaging 7 for 2 years.
Yeah, a guy that I would really think about would be Rex Burkhead. Rex Burkhead
love it.
Is going to go late because of Sony Michel, and he is a great receiving option. And if you look at the wide receivers there, they lost Danny Amendola. If Edelman or Gronk goes down, they're going to use Rex Burkhead in a pass-catching role. I think he's good. He provides a value to me where he's being drafted.
For me, Rex Burkhead is also sure it took a hit, but he has standalone value. He became the goal line back where you can't say with full confidence that Sony Michel is going to inherit that job. I think that there is enough work in that backfield that Rex Burkhead can be played as a flex, and then he has the built-in that Sony Michel was a big-time fumbler in college, and the Patriots brass has already said if Sony Michel fumbles, he's going to be benched. So there's a lot of variables for Burkhead to be just a flex all the way to a solid running back too.
All right. Be Whirly on Instagram. How do you guys come up with all the cool nicknames and drops for players? For example,
how do we?
look,
we wrote this.
How do you fall in
great
love?
Song.
How do you fall in love? You don't follow instructions. It just happens.
Well, that one is just you stare at it and it's just the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah,
literally right in your face.
Well, that one specifically, but I'm just saying we never.
In the history
Nobody's ever
of our
sat
nicknames, in the history of our nicknames, I can only think of one time ever that it has not been that it was kind of a pre-planned thing about a nickname, and that's out of like 10,000. I've lost track of our nicknames. They're just off the cuff.
They happen on the show
because everyone I'm sure is curious. Well, what was the one?
Yeah, I'm curious.
It was Kareem Hunt. When we came in and I screwed up the song Kareem,
yes.
the Dolly Parton, remember?
I do. And yeah, Jason killed that one.
That was bad.
That wasn't really a nickname. That was just
No, it wasn't
singing.
a nickname. It was just we wanted to sing that song that I ruined.
Generally speaking, my thought process, if you hang out with me for any amount of time, you'll realize that my references are generally a reference based on another reference that's based on another one.
Yeah, it's if it wasn't for Brooks and I, you wouldn't understand one thing Mike said on the show.
You gotta be.
He would refer to them all in his slang.
You gotta be quick-witted to hang out with this guy.
That's one adjective that you could use.
Yeah. Okay. Instagram, while Diggs may be overdrafted under a new offensive scheme, new quarterback, and through injury risk, are we undervaluing Sterling Shepard picking up that role under Shermer?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good answer. Good
definitely
answer.
Could be because Sterling Shepard. Here's what I like the most about Sterling Shepard. He's a great wide receiver. Like that's his opportunity. We don't know. It's a new coordinator, a new offense, new weapons. The opportunity might not be there for him. But he is a great wide receiver. He's one of my favorite guys coming out of college that year. And when he's been on the field, he's produced. He's shown that he has great hands, great route running. He's a gritty player. So, yeah, I mean, he could be undervalued. And I imagine right now there's leagues where, I don't know, is he even for sure?
10th round is from Fantasy Football Calculator right now.
I'm surprised he's that high. So I would assume people would – with Saquon, with Odell Beckham coming back, with Evan Ingram in the mix, I would have assumed he would have been lower than that. I think that's probably about where he belongs. So maybe he's not too undervalued, but he is a good wide receiver.
All right, Instagram question. I can't read your name, but he asks, you can only pick 3 toppings on your nachos for the rest of your life along with cheese. What are your
So we get 4 toppings?
Essentially. What are your 3 toppings?
All right, I can bang out 2 real easy.
Yeah, sour cream
and
ground beef.
Oh, then I know them all.
Yeah,
because my
and
third
guacamole.
Guacamole was my number 3.
Yeah, give us a hard question.
Never had guacamole on nachos before,
bro. Oh my goodness.
Lunch plans.
Yeah, I think we know.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. That's it for the podcast.
Nachos. You've never had guacamole on your nachos?
Well, not for at least another 45 minutes. But it's about to happen.
Nacho Supreme.
Healthy fats, my friend. So healthy. They say nachos, the health food. Look, it's got those.
They say fat, so healthy.
I mean, the best part for me on that with the keto restrictions, I just removed the chip and I can eat all the rest of that stuff.
All right, Daddy's House off of Twitter. New to Fab, what's the best strategy for managing it? So free agent acquisition budget. What's the best strategy for utilizing that in your league? Maybe you guys could roll it back, explain what it is, and how you approach it.
Sure. So the free agent acquisition budget, which is, in our opinion, the absolute better waiver system over the waiver priority list, is a system where you get a certain amount of money. Usually it's $100, fake virtual dollars to start your year off. And the waiver system is essentially closed and runs once a day. So, we've got 8 a.m. every single day. You make whatever claims you want, and you do blind bidding on a player. So breakout candidate after week 1 of the NFL season, and you want to grab him. He's the next Justin Forsett or Alex Collins or whoever the new Baltimore waiver wire running back will be. and you say, okay, I want to bid 15 of my $100 or 25, and then in the morning at 8 a.m. or whatever time you set up, you get to see who everyone in the league bid on, what prices they got, who won who was dropped, all of that, and you get to do it every single day. You know, oh, this guy was dropped, we'll bid on him, or news breaks. So that's what a fab system is. As far as how to manage it as a first-time user, Mike, I'll kick it over to you.
I'll say that for first-time users, if everyone is new to it, people are going to be scared to spend their money.
Exactly.
In those first few weeks. So take advantage of that. We, on this show, when we're talking about our waiver list on Tuesday's show, we will throw out percentages of our fab that we would spend in our leagues to acquire this player, basically our confidence level that this player will be a contributor. So that'll give you some good guidelines to go with.
Yeah, go a little bit more than what we're suggesting.
And it's all about knowing your league. How do they spend their money? Are they Scrooge McDuck? Are they stingy with it? Who knows? And I just now thought that I should check in on our Dynasty League because
I was about to bring it up.
There was some movement.
Oh,
and
did I get him?
And the judge and Jason.
There were 2 players acquired in our league because you guys had the heads up. You thought through it because there is a tight end situation in Los
Brooks
Angeles.
doesn't look happy.
Well, Brooks should be happy because he actually signed the better player.
Brooks got Antonio Gates for $17.
Yep.
And Jason spent $25 on Virgil Green.
You
Now we have
outbid your competition by $25 because nobody else bid on him.
All right. Well, the thing, for clarity,
yes,
we have an off-season and an in-season budget, and almost nobody spends off-season budget. That's not an amount I would
Know
ever
your
spend
league
on a player like that. The only other tip I'd give you on a free agent acquisition budget, if you're playoff bound, which you will be, assuming you're playoff bound, when you get to the late portion of the season, you got to put an absolute restriction on your roster. This is what I do. I'll say, look, I really want this guy in week 10, but I've got $5 left. I'm doing a $0 bid. I'm going to hope to get it because you've got to have a few dollars left when you hit the playoffs because a lot of your opponents will be at 0, and you can block their players, block their, they lost a tight end, and there's a clear waiver pickup. You can spend $1 and make sure you steal them away. I always make sure I've got at least $5 going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and that reminds me.
Turn on $0.
Make sure you have $0 bids as an allowable move. It makes
garbage without it.
Yeah, if you don't allow $0 bids, you're in fact putting restrictions on the amount of transactions a team can complete, which I am so opposed to.
If anyone's ever
want to
tried
make your league
fab,
more boring, stop people from doing things.
But Jason is correct. I had a season in the fantasy playoffs. Gronk went down. Surprise, surprise. He went down for me. I had $0. So my opponent was able to
play defense,
outbid me on every notable tight end on that waiver wire, and I was stuck with a guy who ended up getting me 0 points at the tight end position.
That's not a lot. All right.
Rough in the streets.
Mordecai Tattoo on Instagram. With Dez gone, I've heard almost no talk about the Beazles.
Sure.
Seems like he's done a good job in the past stepping in when Dez was hurt. Is he worth a flyer in a 10-team half-point per reception league? I feel like he will be a bit more reliable than a lot of the other late-round wide receivers. And I'll say, you guys can answer whether you buy in, but his highest fantasy finish in history was 37. Last year he was the 72nd ranked fantasy wide receiver, and his career is filled with the smatterings of 53, 78, 91, 139.
Yeah, it's
really hard for him to do enough in a game. Like, he can have 5 receptions, 6 receptions a game and still be not startable.
Yeah, he could be that 5 for 50 guy. I was going to say, I think he's worth a flyer, but when you hit me with the 10 team, I don't know that Cole Beasley's a player that I am going to have much interest in. I'll wait and watch, and if I got to bid on him in the waiver wire, then I will do that. But there's other guys who I'd much rather have. We didn't really talk about Terrence Williams. Got himself in trouble with the law.
Seems like Dallas is on his side, though. They put out a press release.
Okay.
Yeah, so
we'll see if the league is on his side.
Sure, he could lose a game or so. But reading through the incident report and Dallas's press release, I would be surprised if any suspension came from this. Although the mugshot says otherwise.
Sure.
So we'll see. But you can't just think about, Dez is gone. They brought in Michael Gallup.
That's
and they
the guy
brought
I
in
wanted to talk about.
Alan Hearns. Those two guys are the much more.
Alan Hearns is going to go towards the top of a draft. Not early, but he'll be in those middle rounds. Michael Gallup could find
Gallup is a sleeper.
He could find himself in the starting lineup for the Dallas Cowboys, and you may be able to get him very, very late in your drafts, a talented rookie.
There were some that projected him as the number one the number one wide receiver in the NFL draft.
And Dallas had a hole with releasing Dez Bryant. They picked Michael Gallup to fill that. So he is a name you must keep on your radar, monitor what's going on with his ADP.
Beasles just wasn't good. I mean, that's the truth. Last year, he wasn't good.
Better for your NFL team than your fantasy team.
He had two games last year where he was actually a wide receiver one. He was the 11th best, 2 weeks out of 16. The next best performance, like the next best, he was the 46th wide receiver. He was living in the 80s. And so he's not a guy.
That's a bad mugshot.
You looked it up? Yeah,
the Terrence Williams mugshot.
The incident doesn't sound that big a deal, but his
really
face
glistening, really shiny. Don't know if he just got out of the shower for that or what, but it wasn't a good look. Okay, here we go. Chicken or the egg is the name of this question from Daryl in Columbus. He writes
chicken.
Egg.
Yeah, if you just had to pick one, I'll go with eggs. Scrambled chicken is disgusting. Which should come first, selecting keepers or determining draft order? Some owners would keep one player if picking early, or another player, say AB in the first, if picking late.
I would do your draft order first.
I concur. Brings me great sadness to agree with Mike, but yeah, it's better that way.
All right, Nick in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Bonjour!
Bonjour!
Oh,
Such a bonjour.
Shots?
No, I said such a bonjour. And you know what he said? He said bonjour.
Oh,
bonjour.
Love the show. Just pre-ordered the ultimate draft kit for the first time.
Oh, bonjour!
Struggling to choose my final two keepers between Cooper Kupp, Jamison Crowder, Jamal Williams, and Jameis Winston. Already have Wentz, Bell, Cook, Evans, Hill, A-Rob, Kuechly. Yes, it's an IDP league.
Sure.
Also traded for the 101, which means he has Saquon. Would love your
Saquon
input.
and Bell.
Would love your input. Thanks in advance.
Cooper Kupp is the name I liked the most.
Would you
in
take
that list.
Cooper Kupp? You take him over Winston because Winston will go later.
And you already have Wentz.
Crowder, Kupp. It's a coin flip on who has the better season to me.
I agree completely. Those two
Alex
guys.
Smith's going to feed Jamison Crowder.
He could, yeah.
Yeah, I think Jamison Crowder's been. We haven't talked about him much on this show, but I actually think he has a good opportunity with Alex Smith coming there. It just depends on which Alex Smith we see. Is he going to be the Alex Smith of last year where he pushes the ball down the field, in which case I like Paul Richardson. But if he's Alex Smith of the other
career?
10 years or however long he's been in the league, then Jamison Crowder will have an opportunity to feast on all the dinks and dunks.
You got to feast on him. You got to. You got no other choice?
Yeah, but I agree. Those two players, Kupp or Crowder.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else you want to add in? I think we're wrapping it.
Oh, put a bow on it.
I think we're wrapping it, putting a bow on it. Definitely check out the Ultimate Draft Kit before it releases. You can get that inexpensive deal.
Yeah. And Ballers Live, the Ballers Live tour that we're going on.
Presented by Draft. Fantasy for the people, Jason.
It is presented by Draft. Draft is our DFS partner that, look, this is the draft.com studios. We want you to go to draft.com/ballers, play best ball with us. We talk about mock drafting. Best ball is mock drafting.
It's for real.
Ferocious. It's for real. Check it out. Draft.com/ballers.
I'm going to go get some nachos.
Guacamole!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.